What's up, all you depraved animals? Today we're going to be checking out two more channel aluminum Balisong trainers, but this time they're not from Amazon. They're from a brand called Defcon Tactical. Ain't that quirky? And I don't know what else to say, so we're going to go right into the B-roll. What is up, everybody? DenDenBMX here, and like I said, Defcon Tactical sent me these two Balisongs to review, as well as one other Balisong that we're going to be looking at in a later video that is quite interesting. That's the cliffhanger I'm going to leave for you guys, but today we're going to be checking out Defcon's S-TEC brand of Balisong trainers. This red one here is called the Hex, and this green one right here is called the Apex. First off, I just want to thank Defcon Tactical for sending me these and all the other goodies that they sent me. I don't know if you noticed all these boxes, but this is all the stuff they sent me, and I'm pretty dang grateful for it. So a huge shout out to Defcon Tactical. You can go follow them on Instagram. I think it's at Defcon Knives. But yeah, go give them a follow. Check out some of their stuff. They seem like pretty cool dudes. I also want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Knife Pivot Lube, of course. As always, if you guys want to get yourself some KPL products, make sure you use the link that I'll have in the bio of this video, as well as pinned in the comment section. Go to KPL's website, get whatever your heart desires, and over at checkout, use code DenDenBMX. If you use my link and use my code, you will get a discount, and I will get some kickback from your purchase. So a huge shout out to Knife Pivot Lube and Defcon Tactical for making this video possible, as well as a huge thank you to all you watching right now and everyone who's been showing support and love on all my latest videos. It truly does mean a lot. So these two Balisongs are very similar in construction. The design is just what's a little bit different, and really that design difference is only on the handles. The blades are exactly the same. I actually really like the blade. I don't know if I'm going to be holding it the right way, but the blade actually says S-TEC, which I think is really cool. Now these blades, of course, are made out of the best steel ever, which is 420 stainless steel. Oh my God, I do that like once a month, and it scares the shit out of me like every single time. The handles, instead of being made out of 6061 aluminum, they're actually made out of 6260 billet aluminum, which is a little bit different from most other aluminum Balisongs. I'm not actually sure if any other aluminum Balisong even uses that kind of aluminum, so that is one thing that makes these unique. Are you really going to be able to tell the difference? So far I can't, but it does have a different kind of aluminum, so keep that in mind. Both of these bad boys run on bushings that came rather well tuned, and they are, of course, being guided along with some bronze phosphorus washers. And of course, these have the staple press fit Zen pins on them. And when you look at the specs on these two bad boys, besides the kind of aluminum they use, it's kind of just the exact same specs as all the other aluminum handled Amazon Balisong trainers you can find on Amazon these days. And a lot of those Amazon Balisongs are in the like $65 to $75 range. Both of these guys retail for about $100 flat. Keep that in mind. I'm sure that bump in price is because of the kind of aluminum that's used, the handle design, and the blade design. All of them are rather intricate in ways that you might not notice right away. So I wouldn't say these are the most affordable aluminum Balisongs on the market, but they're also still not that expensive. I'd say it's like getting into like a mid-range price Balisong. It's like right in between what I would call entry price and like mid-range price. They both come with bite handle indicators, which I always appreciate. The tune on both of these bad boys is quite good. There isn't really any visible play with these guys, but you can feel it wiggle in your fingers just a little bit. And neither the Hex nor the Apex that I personally receive has any tap right now in this current moment. So now that we've gone over the specs on these two stinky mamas, let's get the GoPro on and do some POV flipping, and let's get an idea of how they flip. All right, friends. Let's start by looking at the Hex first, and then we'll check out the, whoa, that got weird. And then we'll check out the Apex. The reason this one is called the Hex, of course, is because there's this very cool hexagonal design that goes throughout the handles. And what's really cool is it actually does supply quite a bit of grip to this thing. The only problem is, while it is on the faces of the handles, it is not on the sides of the handles. And the sides of the handles are completely bare aluminum. There's no jimping. The sides of these handles are really rounded, and the texture of this aluminum anodization isn't the most grippy thing in the world. So it's like half of this Balisong has really good grip, half of this Balisong has really bad grip. And that kind of sucks because I really like the hex texture that they used on the sides of the handles. I think if that was all the way around the handles, then this would be something really interesting. It'd be a completely new thing that no one's ever done before. When it comes to like the balance and the actual like flipping ability of this Balisong, it's quite good. It's balanced really nice. It flips really well. Everything from rollovers to twirls to ladders to choker fans to scissors. It all feels really good on this Balisong. The only issue is actually making sure that it stays in my hands. And that's really the only flaw that this thing has. But to be fair, that's the one flaw that most aluminum Balisongs have. But there could have, whoa, see, just like that. There could have been stuff done to avoid what just happened right there. If there was jimping or any sort of design or texture on the sides of these handles, I think that would help this thing out a lot. But the sides of this thing's handles being so slippery really is kind of a fatal flaw to this Balisong's design, and that's quite unfortunate because I think it actually looks pretty cool. I also just want to take a second to comment on how this is like Brandon Baker's wet dream version of this Balisong red and black. Shout out to Brandon. I really hope this section of the video doesn't make you squirt all over the place wherever you are at this current moment. Yeah, if this thing had a little bit more grip, I think it would be quite a good flipper actually, because it's balanced quite well and it's set up to be a pretty dang good flipper. The only problem is there's just not enough grip. I don't know. There's been like 2 aluminum Balisongs that I've flipped that I would say has an acceptable amount of grip. And one of them, they had to like completely paint over the handles with a different texture. And then the other one, they just did a ton of milling work all over the Balisong to where it was just never smooth aluminum anywhere. I'm hoping other brands will catch on and start realizing that aluminum is slippery and you should do something about it. Now moving on to the Apex. And this one, I don't know, this one's a little bit better, but it's also a little bit worse. So really, I wouldn't say they're too far off. I'd say it doesn't really matter which one you get. You're probably going to get pretty close to the same experience on both of them. Now, when it comes to the potential flippability of this Balisong, this one is also really good. I would say it's on par with the Hex. It's balanced really well. And if it wasn't for a few things that I'm going to talk about here in a second, this thing could be a really dang good flipper as well. Now, I'm not gonna lie, on pictures, this Balisong didn't really interest me at all, but as soon as I actually held it, I kind of had to take a step back and kind of just like sit here and really flip this thing for a second and realize if I like it. And I'm starting to think that I really do like this particular feature because it helps this Balisong stand out in a way that it really kind of needs to, because based off its looks, it's not really that interesting. But when you actually hold this in your hand, that's when you realize that these handles are a little bit different than anything I personally have ever tried. I'm gonna see if I can get like a really good view of it. These are square handles, but they kind of cut off the edges to where it's a little bit more of an octagon. Now, it's not even on every side. It's still pretty much a square, but there's these little slants on the sides that cut little corners out, and you really feel it in your hands. And it's weird. It's like it helps with grip because your fingers have something to grab onto, but it's not like it's gonna get like stuck on fans or anything. It still spins very freely through your hands as well, which is something that's really cool. But it helps with stuff like choker fans, and I don't know if it helped too much with stuff like ladders, but it still feels pretty good. And it threw me off guard for a second because I was not expecting it at all. But once I messed around with it for a while, I quite like this actually. I kind of want to see more brands do something with this kind of handle style. I think that's pretty interesting. I quite like the handle shape of this Balisong. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot going on with the rest of these handles, which is quite the bummer. Now, while the Hex didn't have any jimping, this one does have jimping. It's not the deepest jimping in the world. And then the handle design is a line right here, and then 6 triangles. 5 of them are really close together right here, and then there's one more right up here by the Zen pins, and that's the grip pattern this thing has. And now the matte texture of this aluminum anodization and the finish, it does provide some grip. I'm glad it's not like a fully gloss Balisong, because then this thing would be really slippery. But how it is now, it still has grip, but I mean, it could have a lot more. Like, they could have done a little bit more with this, especially for the price that they're selling these things at. I realize that the blade design, and I'm also sure that the shape of the handles probably isn't the cheapest thing in the world to manufacture. And then, of course, the actual grade of aluminum they're using, I'm sure makes it a little bit more expensive. But still, man, if you're already going like to $100, you might as well maybe spend a little bit more money giving this thing a really good handle design that's actually grippy. Then you could probably sell it for like $120, $150, which isn't that far off from the price that they're selling it at already. It's not necessarily a budget Balisong anymore at the price that they're selling it. And at that point, I'm kind of thinking, why don't you just go all out and really make these Balisongs something new and something different? Because it's almost like these two Balisongs are half measures. And I don't mean that in like a disrespectful way. I'm not trying to like trash talk Defcon or anything like that. I know this brand isn't necessarily that deeply rooted in the Balisong community, so they may not be that in tune to what flippers are looking for. It's like they stopped halfway at making these two Balisongs, and I kind of feel like a dick saying that. I really don't want to be one of these reviewers that just trash talks everything they review just for clicks and likes and stuff like that. Wow, you guys can get a look at my abysmal doubles flipping here for a second. There we go. Yeah, I'm not very good at doubles. I really don't flip with my left hand. But it's like with both of these Balisongs, they stopped halfway at making them something really cool and really different, because the Hex has this really cool hex pattern that I think could really be something interesting, but it's only on the faces of the handles, and they didn't do anything to the sides of the handles. So while it's really cool and really grippy on one part, this part is insanely slippery, so it kind of ruins the flippability of it. And then this Balisong, the handle shape is really something interesting, and they put jimping on it, but the jimping isn't very deep at all, so it doesn't really work that well. And it's like the other 98% of these handles, except for this line and these triangles, is just blank aluminum, so there really is not a whole lot of grip. But what's weird is I think that the Apex, which is the one I'm flipping right now, has a little bit more grip than the Hex, because the sides of the Hex's handles are really super rounded, and when you combine that with the blank sides of the handles, it's pretty dang slippery. This one has slipped out of my hands more than this one has, just because this one's a little bit more angular and a little bit more aggressive. And while it may not have any like actual grip milled into the faces or the sides of the handle, just like the actual edges of these handles help it have a little bit more grip, just because it's a bit more angular and aggressive and digs into your hands a little bit more. But I will say that the faces of the Hex handles are more grippy than the faces of the Apex's handles. Now, how do we fix the issues of these two Balisongs? You could keep them separate and just work on things within these two Balisongs separately, but I have a different idea or proposition for Defcon Tactical. Instead of taking these two Balisongs and trying to improve them separately, might I propose that you combine them? Because I like the handle shape of the Apex, and I like the handle design and the milling that you do on the Hex. So why don't you guys take this Apex handle shape and put the Hex milling pattern onto that? You can leave these little edges that you cut out alone, but on the sides of the handle too, put this Hex pattern in, and then maybe down here where the jimping is, make it just really aggressive. A lot of manufacturers and designers, I think, really hold back with jimping because they don't want it to be too aggressive. Make it as aggressive as possible. Like, go crazy with the jimping, every designer ever. Like, especially if it's on aluminum. With aluminum, I think you need particularly aggressive jimping. So deepen up the jimping, make it a little bit more aggressive, and maybe even make the Hex pattern just a little bit deeper. Just turn these two separate Balisongs into one brand new, different, interesting design, and you can call it like the Apex Hex or something, or the Apex, you know, like APHEX or something like that. I don't know, get goofy with the name. I think if you guys did that, well, for one, it'd probably end up with a more expensive Balisong, but again, since these are already $100, they're not necessarily the most affordable Balisongs ever. So if you're not going for affordability, just go all out with the handle design, make something different, make something new, really bring something new to the Balisong community. Because with a lot of these Balisong manufacturers right now, they're not necessarily innovating a whole lot. They're just kind of playing copycat with each other, trying to see who can come up with the best affordable budget aluminum channel handle Balisong. Now, I'm saying that only about like this little niche. Defcon Tactical has definitely been innovative and a little bit different and a little bit unique with the other Balisong that they sent me that we're going to look at in the next video. But I really think you could have something different and unique if you combined these two Balisongs together. It would get more people talking about your brand. It would be something different that would stand out from all the other aluminum channel handle Balisongs that are out there right now. And it would also justify the more expensive price compared to a lot of the other more affordable aluminum Balisong Amazon trainers that really aren't that far off from what these guys are doing. But that's just a theory. A Balisong theory. Yeah, those are just my little thoughts on how to improve these two Balisongs. I'd say just make a full measure, go crazy, making one Balisong. These Balisongs have what the other is missing, if that makes sense. It's like the grip that this Balisong has would really help this Balisong if it had it. And the grip that this Balisong has would really help this Balisong's grip. So if you just made him do a little fusion dance, made him put some Patora earrings on, get him in a room, make him spank the monkey, then we'd have something really interesting. These things are still really good flippers, and I still would recommend them for someone who's looking for a Balisong in that like $100 range. I think this would be something unique and different. I'd probably recommend the Apex more than I would the Hex, just because I'm liking that grip on the Apex a little bit more, and I think the handle shape on this is really something interesting and new and different. The Hex is still cool, and I mean, if you like the way the Hex looks, don't let me stop you from sending it. But I really think they're not that far off from what you could get from an Amazon aluminum Balisong trainer. And I just think if they made these two guys kiss, you'd really have something really interesting. But I've been saying that nonstop for like the last 10 minutes. So that's going to conclude the flipping demo and the little review of these two Balisongs. Let's get into our final concluding thoughts. So that is going to wrap up today's video. Once again, I just want to give a big thank you to Defcon Tactical for giving me the opportunity to make this review and sending these two bad boys over to me. While these might not necessarily be the two greatest Balisongs that I've ever flipped, I do also think that these both have some potential, especially if they were to combine them. Then we could really be talking about something interesting. But regardless, I am very thankful for the opportunity to be able to try these. So huge thank you to Defcon Tactical. Once again, a huge thank you to KPL for sponsoring today's video. I also want to give a monumental thank you and a shout out to Modern Balisong, Cosmic Steez, Yannick, Luke, and a horse running. Those are the current channel members, and their support really does help out this channel in a bigger way. If you want to join them, see your name in my videos, get access to the occasional members only video, and just help out the channel in a bigger way, you can go down there and click that join button and become a channel member today. Tiers start as low as only $3. And now if that's too much of a commitment, I understand, but if you still want to monetarily contribute to the channel, but as like a one-time thing, there is always that super thanks button down there, kind of like a little tip jar. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. I really hope you all enjoyed. If you did, let me know and help support the engagement on this video by leaving a like, leaving a comment, give me your thoughts and opinions, sharing the video around, and making sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. If you regularly watch my channel and you haven't subscribed already, I am going to find you and I am going to bare-ass fart down your throat. So I'd make sure I'm subscribed if I was you. We are on the road to 17,000 subs, and once we get there, I don't even know what's going to happen. Who knows? Maybe we'll stop living through traumatizing historical events every single day of our lives. But I am done being a tool. Thank you guys once again so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.